Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. In the top left, we're going to have effort. In the bottom left, we're going to have movie. This could end up being a mismatch or it could end up being a good game. It's really hard to say. Effort, I think, is always just a killer. You know, he's someone that I'm expecting great games out of every single time I see him. One of my favorite players to watch, cast, etc. Whereas movie is one of the weakest strong pros in PvZ. Like, he's good at the other matchups, but he historically has a very weak PvZ. Now, I've heard that his PvZ has gotten a lot better recently. I don't watch a lot of... Is he missing mining? Oh, that's funny. It went behind him for a moment. I've heard that he's gotten a lot better in Protoss versus Zerg lately. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. We're going to see. I'm hoping, like, that's part of the reason why I'm watching this, is to be like, all right, has this movie actually fixed this up? You know, we have a lot of players right now that are fixing up their play. It's not like this is a short-term thing, being a pro gamer at this point. Everyone's kind of done the military for the most part, and that the military used to be, it's like, okay, you have a short career because you're going to go to military and your career is over, and that was the case for a really long time. But nowadays, it's like, yeah, you come out of the military and it seems like you're going to be able to play forever because the game is just super popular right now and everyone wants to watch it. So, you know, I really like that a lot of players are cleaning up their games. We've seen a lot from Leda cleaning up his game. We've seen a lot from Ample, Speed. These are guys that have been around forever and have really, really improved their standing, their quality of play, filled in a bunch of the weak spots. So if Movie's doing something like that, we might actually get a Protoss. You know, this guy was in an OSL finals in like 2010, I want to say. So like, he is a very strong Protoss player. It's just like the reason why he doesn't do that well is generally his PvZ. So here's to hoping. We'll see how he can do here against effort. The map is Metropolis, as I'm sure you can see. First Zealot coming out for a little bit of pressure. Probe scouting around quite a bit. And, yeah. Looks like we're just going to have that command center going up. Zealot going up the ramp. I'm surprised he mined out the minerals so quickly there. I'm not exactly sure why you would do that, because it makes it, like, a lot tighter if you don't. So, like, it's more potential for the Lings to actually get up. He doesn't actually even check. That's funny. And then he just kind of run up. Well, they would have run up there regardless, but... Yeah, I'm not sure why you would clear it that quickly in this matchup. Seems like like, I clear it pretty quickly, too. It's just kind of annoying to have there. But, you know, with Zerglings coming up, like, sometimes it's better to have smaller holes to block. Third base coming up for effort. Movie just scouting around with his probe. The three Lings, you never know. These things might be alive just about forever. Effort is especially good at keeping Zerglings alive, especially good at that really decisive Zergling micro. Four Lings coming out to chase this probe. We'll pop that. A couple more Zealots moving up the map. Going to continue to keep that pressure on. So a few probes have fallen so far. Unfortunately for Movie, only 18, well now 19, going up against 15 here from effort. One Ling still going around trying to cause some havoc, trying to cause some trouble. Looks like we'll have that cybernetic score going up here since the Forge is right there in the back. Some good pressure from these two Zealots, that's for sure. Not a lot of great hiding places back here, it seems. Like, yeah, over here is kind of okay, but that's a fair amount of surface area to clear that out with Lings. Just have to loop some around. If he had a Zealot here now, that would be something. Few Lings going for a little bit of counterplay here, but three Zealots in the wall going to make that tough. Effort. Oh, what was that? Like, you definitely want a flank. You don't want to do this without a flank. That drone actually really bothering him right now. And he does get that nice flank off, and it looks like he'll actually clean this up really quickly. In fact, even saving the... Well, trying to save that very damaged Ling, but the drone continues to mine there and screws it up a bit. So finally clears that out. Additional drones up here, and it is going to end up being a 3-hatch Hydra. He has Zergling speed as well. Already up to those 22 drones, so looking pretty good for effort. Movie unable to scout that thus far. We'll see if he adds some cannons. Stargate on the way, a pylon out here for macroing up gateways. So we have 5, we have 7, and we have 9. He's actually overmade the drones, which means a 4th hatch will come down. There it is. You know, it's called the 973 for a reason. Once you have 22 drones, that's how many you need to really efficiently macro out 3-hatch Hydralisk and get those upgrades. Now, if you see more drones than that, it means that it's not a fully dedicated 3-hatch Hydra. They're going to get that 4th hatchery. In fact, it was called a 973... Wait. Yeah, 973 is the Hydra Rush, and then they called it a 9734 because you would get a 4th hatchery. Yeah, again, I don't name these builds. Only Crazy Zerg, right? Now... Layer is on the way. There are a few Hydras coming out and going to put a little bit of pressure on that. Hydralisk speed is done. Only a couple cannons up. +1 air attack is on the way. So it feels like movie really doesn't quite know what's going on here. Cancels that air attack immediately. Starts making some more photon cannons. Going to pull back these Zealots a little bit. He's kind of lucky that this was not a dedicated 3-hatch Hydra because I think that effort had a decent chance of actually breaking him here if it had been that. But Zealot legs on the way. Movie seems like he's going to be okay just because there's not that many Hydras coming down. Plenty of cannons. Like 4 cannons will be fine here. He's scouting, and he sees now with the Corsair that this is not like an all-in. You can see additional gas, evolution chamber, macro hatches going up, drone count higher than it should be. So it's like, okay, this is a little bit of pressure going on. Range almost done here for the Hydras, so they should be able to hit the Cybernetics core there, but the Zealots are going to be ready to run out in just a second. I don't foresee him losing the Cybernetics core. He should be able to force him back as soon as Zealot legs are done. Ton of gateways being added. What is that? 5 more gates? 6. So he's going up to 6 gate at the moment. 6 gate is not the most common. 6 gate generally goes into a very fast 3rd. And I would say on Metropolis, that's really, really doable, is taking a fast 3rd. We'll see if he adds a couple more gates or not. Templar Archives on the way. So definitely going to work up towards that Psy Storm as well. Corsair's still trying to get some scouting done. One of them very low now. Just a couple Hydra hits from death. Speed Zealots coming out of their wall. They do have +1 as well. So movie with a little bit of potential. Put on some counter pressure. Zergling's not going to fare well against these Zealots. Hydra's microing back, though, using them as a little bit of a meat shield, but they kill them so quickly the Hydras do have to start microing back. Some pretty decent kiting here from effort, but, you know, you're not going to end up trading too efficiently there against that number of Zealots. 5 mutas coming up. Oh, that's kind of an interesting transition. So it was like kind of a fake 3-hatch Hydra into some mutas. And there's very little in way of anti-air here. No cannons in that line. No cannons in that line. And the Corsair count was down to 2. And now it's down to just 1. So with that Spire up and this many mutas being made, the mutas definitely have potential to get some damage done. Now the Zealots run through this base. They decide better of it. Not that there's any static D. There's actually a bunch of drones under there that he needs to... The rally point is right there. He needs to really send those to mine. Turns around and will pick off some of these Hydras. Cannon on the way, but again, the cannons are a little bit late. Some more Corsairs being made as well as Dragoons. Range not done yet. Zealots still trying to be a bit of a nuisance. And here comes the 6 Mutalisks. A wise man once said you either make 5 or less or more than 5 mutas. Here we're going to see more than 5. It's 6. But 6 is kind of a funny number because you need 5 to 1 shot. So it's like, okay, is he planning on making more or does he just want a 1 shot for long enough where it's like, okay, maybe I lose a Muta, but I can continue to kill probes really efficiently for a little bit. Hard to say. A couple more gates coming up, so getting up to those 8 gates before going for that third base. That was kind of a question earlier on. A few more defensive photon cannons already. Mutas flying in. Carapace on the way for these Hydras that already have +1. They also have a +2 attack on the way. Overlord speed. Lurkers coming. Ooh, gotta be careful about that. Taking a lot of damage there. And he actually kind of dives on them with like 6 Mutas. That was a little bit surprising. Doesn't feel like a very good engage there from Effort. I'm not sure what he was looking for, but going to continue forward since there's no Psystorm. But a Psystorm comes out, pushes those Hydras back. Probe getting ready for a new base. Doing a pretty good job of keeping the Mutas from doing too much. I really don't feel like these Mutas were useful at all. He got like basically no kills. Didn't really stop the High Templars either. So Movie, yeah, I think Movie's getting into a pretty good spot. Now there is a new base being taken here by Effort in the top right. Let's count the hatches here. 3, 6. Okay, so pretty standard 6 hatchery into a 4th base. And he is going to get into those lurkers, but are we going to play a zone defense, or is he going to try to do something like a containment here and a containment here? I'm actually not entirely sure. Another hatchery going up right away. Effort really hitting his macro. Comes in with a big group of Hydras. Generally, you are going to want to hold this area, but I think he's not quite ready for that yet. Good storm goes down. Going to force those Hydras back. Plenty of units here on the high ground. Going to be really hard to break that. But yeah, you kind of want this natural choke. You can technically defend this spot and then high ground, but in my opinion, it's much better to hold this choke. So it's like they can only attack here or here, and this attack is almost always bad. You'll always have a few cannons here, maybe a High Templar or 2, some Zealots. So very hard to attack up there. So you kind of make a single point of defense. So the Lurker Contain has started. Throwing down at least the first few Lurkers. Two-one going to be finishing up pretty quickly. 1-2 here for Movie. Observers popping out. I love this. We see this really commonly nowadays. Keeping a High Templar, the Stargate just kind of pops up a bit more. You can kind of hide it there as well. You can kind of hide it behind there as well. It's kind of the weird top-down view that we have in StarCraft 1. Also, on the regular UI, you can hide it in the very bottom left if you're the bottom left of the map, and you can't see it because it's behind the mini-map. It's kind of a funny thing. Okay, so he starts to push out a little bit. Good storms overall. The Dragoon's getting some pretty solid damage down. Not that many Hydras to really stop them, and Effort actually decides to run. Now, Effort's macro is really finding its stride, but his containment didn't do that much. So moving up the map right now with 3 bases up and mining, 3 gases. That one actually needs 1 more probe in it, but he's got a lot of gas income. So if he doesn't throw this army away, the position is becoming very playable for him. He has to be really careful, though, because Effort is looking for an engage. Don't forget, he has a ton of hatcheries. We have 8 hatcheries with another base on the way right now. So his Ling Hydra Lurker comp really can collapse upon you if you're not careful. Very whipped storms there, unfortunately. Oh, my God. 3 High Templars die so quickly. That storm not even that good. Wow. I'm not sure why it's Effort saying that right now, but yeah, that engage definitely went better for him. Now he comes in for another engage. Yeah, he's just absolutely crushing these Dragoons right now. Not the best fights being taken here from Movie. And I think you can see what I was talking about before, where this is definitely a weak matchup for him. Like, High Templar's just running out and dying, not getting his Psystorms out. Corsairs, I guess, still going around the map. But really, you have to take it slow. You don't want to just run in and lose your army right away. You have to grind Zerg down a little bit. You have to milk your Psystorms. If you're getting an average of like 1 to 1.5 Psystorms per High Templar, that's not enough. You need to retain those units, those highly efficient units. It's kind of like tanks in Terran vs. Protoss. If you're going to be the one on the smaller economy, your high quality units need to be kept alive for longer. It's just simple math. Another pretty whiff storm, really hitting almost nothing there. Effort running away when the storm does start to hit, so some good micro from him. Quite the swarm of Hydras pushing Movie back. Movie with actually getting a pretty big bank. Looks like he is trying to set up another base over here. He does have those Zealots there. So maybe if he gets a bunch of cannons up, pulls back and defends with Psystorm, you know, I could see him actually making this into a really good game once again. It looked okay for a little bit till he took the poor engagement up here. But if he sets up a fourth base, like the fourth base is very hard for Protoss to get, but he's actually taking this in pretty good time. 15 minutes, you know, 15:30, something like that is when he started this. I really do like to see that. You know, it kind of reminds me of Bisu a little bit, but Bisu does take it a little bit faster, and Mini does as well. You know, that's one of the strong things about, if you're really good at a matchup, you expand a little bit quicker than other players in that matchup. You just have the confidence that you can take it and hold it, and you have the sense of when you can take it and hold it. Another little bit of a whiff storm. The Hydras trying to make their way over here. Corsairs did push those mutas back, and a lot of cannons are being made, so he might actually just barely force effort away from this base. Look, he brings a probe down to try to block as well. Well, I'm not sure if that's what that was doing because it kept moving, but gets picked off. And effort, he is not going to slow down. He is going to get up here, target down these cannons, and it looks like probably just go after this base. Movie moving over with his main army. The Lurker Egg slowing him down substantially. I can't imagine this living through this. Unpowered gateway, not going to be able to get that DT out for that clutch defense. Egg on the ramp, yeah, the Nexus going to fall. No real way to break up here. No real reason to break up here other than to clear that army. Very tough position from here on for Movie. In the meantime, effort, my gosh, just looking phenomenal. So many units. He's got that hive. Getting into Plague now for his Defilers. We haven't even seen those used yet. But no real counterplay exists here for Movie. Look at this. 49 probes with 78 drones. You know, guys, I wanted to see... I've heard that he's gotten better at the matchup. Maybe he's gotten better and effort's just too much better than him. But, like, this is... He is getting absolutely slammed in this game. Absolutely slammed. Like, some of the early game looked okay. But... it seems like he cannot keep up with Effort. And I don't even think it's like a matchup thing. It's just like, yeah, Effort, who is especially good, is going up against Movie, who is specifically weak in this matchup. Now, the Archon goes underneath the Dark Swarm, so the Archon can actually kill everything under here right now. The Hydras come out forward from underneath, and we'll try to target some of this down. I like the consume into the Plague. Plague just absolutely brutal. Well... Defilers in general, absolutely brutal. Quite a few Zealots being picked off there as they run through the Lurker line. Not sure what Movie's aim is here. Not sure what he thinks he can accomplish. I hope he can, though. I hope he can get something going this game. DT over on the side. Maybe, you know, partially zoning out an attack that might hit down there. Another whiff storm there. A decent storm there does force him back. Another Plague, but these are already super low. LOL. Wasted Plague. Okay, effort's up 80 supply. I think we can call it. Ooh, even the couple Lurkers behind. That's one thing I love seeing about effort, is when you get some of these really world-class players, like the best players that have ever lived, and effort is one of those, by the way. They do all these little extra things that you're not even thinking about, where it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's a great move right now. He can deny a bunch of mining right here. Absolutely brutal. You know, I will remind you guys, because it's so hype having effort back active once again. You know, the people that we consider the greatest ever: Flash, Jaedong, Bisu, right? They were the best ever when StarCraft 1 kind of slowed down, but there were players coming for them. The players coming for them and trying to rise up to be the greatest players ever. Yeah, see, this is so good. The players trying to rise up to be the greatest players ever were Effort, Zhongbi, and Fantasy. Right at the end of StarCraft 1's original, like, peak Kespa days as StarCraft 2 was kind of disrupting the scene. Those were the players that were really rising. And, you know, if the scene had gone on for like 4 more years, might we think of those players as the greatest of all time? It is a possibility. My gut tells me that Flash was not done, and we kind of see that reflected in his dominance in Remastered. But who knows? Could have been. Now, coming in for the finish, a bunch of High Templars walking out. Can't possibly whiff Storms with this many Zerg units and this many High Templars in here. GG is called. Very, very one-sided game. I won't be excited for a movie PVZ again for a very long time. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.